when they're looking at these shadows, they've seen a woman who's actually missing her left arm walking around. So it's pretty freaky at night.
The archaeology building on campus is filled with the remains of people long gone. But if you listen to the folks who work here, not all of them are at rest. The ghostly apparition of a woman who died in the 1920s, believed to be the victim in Saskatoon's oldest cold case, who was found in a barrel soaked in gasoline and missing an arm, and whose body was examined here after it was found, has been reported by multiple witnesses.
There have been many reports of people seeing a woman walking by at night, but the scariest part of it is actually people have smelt gasoline in the basement of this building.
That's just one of the stories being told on campus this week, as the Diefenbaker Canada Centre is offering tours of haunted university locations. That building is the final resting place for Prime Minister John Diefenbaker, and employees have reported he too has made his presence known, perhaps in part because of what he was buried with.
We believe it's because he was buried with the flag that he hated, the new maple leaf flag, and he personally requested to not be buried with it. We think he's rolling in his grave and occasionally haunting the center.
Evidence of the chief's presence includes colder temperatures in his office and unexplained shuffling of his personal items, plus one last comment on an issue that haunted his own political career.
We had one panel that was all about the cancellation of the Abro Arrow called Black Friday, and it was all the criticism he received for it. And the night after we installed all the panels, we walked in that morning and we found that panel on the ground, cracked.
Different panels on campus have also offered evidence of a ghostly presence.
I had this door open so I could hear everything that was happening in the gallery, and this entire wall had shifted diagonally. And when I went to push it back, it's pretty heavy, and it also makes a lot of noise. So I have no idea how it shifted with me 3 feet away and not hearing anything.
The spirit said to be haunting the Museum of Antiquities is that of an ancient Egyptian priestess named Irti. This is an original artifact from her tomb, and among other instances of mischief, she has reportedly moved around a carving representing the animal that symbolizes Egypt, leaving others untouched.
She's never caused any damage, and we don't think of her really as a malevolent spirit, so we don't mind her so much, but every now and then a little something moves and we all roll our eyes and say, "Oh, Irti."
The second oldest building on campus is said to be visited not only by its namesake, Thorberger Thorvaldsen, but others as well.
This was the very first building on campus to have an elevator, and a janitor brought in his family to experience an elevator in the 1920s. And when they got all the way up to the top floor, it actually crashed all the way to the bottom, and the whole family passed away. And there's been rumors of the janitor actually haunting the basement, walking around in shame. They've heard people sweeping a broom even when there's no one there.
There are even more recent victims who still make their presence felt. The legend goes that when the Murray Library was built in 1970, the librarian at the time helped with the design. But no one took into account the weight of the books, causing the building to sink, and the librarian to become so despondent, she took her own life by leaping from the 6th floor.
There's been many reports of missing books that are not believed to be stolen, but we believe it's the librarian actually taking the books, trying to balance out the weight so it doesn't collapse again, as well as book trolleys squeaking even though there's no one up there.
If you're interested in learning more about haunted locations on campus and taking a tour, you'll have to wait until at least this time next year, as the popularity of the event led to tours filling up almost immediately. For Campus Life, I'm Simon Hyatt.